Hello, hello, everyone. It is Jynnette The Oracle. Welcome, welcome. Starting a little later today because I wasn't expecting to be sitting with Spirit that long, but here we are. We spend the time that we need to prepare, and that's just what it is. So I'm still actually making my notes, but I do have cards out. I'm gonna finish writing up what I need to write up, but I'll also allow that time for folks to come in, for you to say hello, let me know where you're joining from, what you might be sipping on, etc. I already finished my matcha latte because, like I said, I was not expecting to be sitting this long with Spirit. So I actually already finished it, but I do have some fresh water. So there you go. All right, one second. Hope everybody is doing well. Okay. All righty. Let's get started. All right. Hello, hello. So announcements. I have two events, possibly a third, but definitely two events that are on the books that are coming up. I do have the information in the description box below, so you can also check that out later on as well. But the first is a 30-day meditation challenge. And that's actually going to be kicking off next week because I literally just got the download for it. So it's going to be kicking off next week, which is very fast, on the day of the new moon in Virgo. So it's going to be starting next Friday, which is August 22nd. And that's going to be going all the way up through and including the next new moon in Virgo, which is going to be September 20th. So if you did not know, we have, in general, every year there are always going to be two new moons that will be in the same sign. And for this year, it's in the sign of Virgo. And what makes it special this year specifically is it's coinciding with eclipse season. So this first new moon in Virgo that's happening next week as the day of this recording, or not recording, but this live stream, excuse me, that's going to be a new moon occurring at 0 degrees in Virgo. Then we have the full moon lunar eclipse that'll be happening mid-September, early time. I didn't look at the dates, but we'll have that. That'll be our first eclipse of eclipse season. And then the new moon solar eclipse will be in Virgo again on the 20th of September, and that will be at 29 degrees Virgo. So we have this really beautiful bookend of these new moons. And also, as we know, the North Node is in Pisces, South Node is in Virgo. So the span of this time as well is being bookended by these two new moons, but tapping into the South Node energy. So it's a really, in my opinion and focus, it's really both creative, expansive time, as well as a time of important clearing and releasing of that which obstructs that creative expansion. Okay, whatever that's going to look like. So I'm really excited about it. I'm really grateful that this came through as something to offer. If it's something that you were interested in, you can sign up. The deadline to sign up is Thursday, the 21st, obviously, the day before, at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because I will be sending out the introductory email at 6, and then the follow-up email is going to be a thought prompt. So how I'm actually structuring this 30-day challenge is very simple. That introductory email is going to be the longest comparatively email that you will have, which is basically just going to be explaining what we're going to be doing and how to approach the work. But essentially, on a daily basis, the evening prior to your meditation the next morning, I'm going to send out one simple sentence that is to be used as a thought prompt that your mind, your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious can sit and digest with in the evening while you sleep. And your meditation time is going to be in the morning, whatever time works best for you, because people have different schedules, but it's going to be a morning or start of the day meditation rather than an evening meditation. Now, if you're someone who's like, oh, I prefer to do meditations in the evening, I'm going to ask you, if you decide to join this challenge, to please switch and do your meditation in the morning, because what we really want this meditation to do, because of the beauty and the support of the South Node energy, is to allow a further digestion and metabolizing of whatever it is that your soul is trying to get you to process, to basically unburden yourself, to be able to be more open and receptive to spirit. So your experiences in the meditation, when you wake up and you're starting the first thing in the morning, whatever that morning is for you, whatever time that is, there may still be thoughts running all over the place. That is fine. That's successful, because that means that there's still digestion happening. And the thought prompts that I'm sending out, they're not to be used as something to meditate on or contemplate during the meditation. It's there to do its work while you sleep. Okay? So that work's taken care of, and you just sit with yourself and with God and allow the process to happen. Now, you sit until the process is complete, or whenever it is that you need to finish. Whatever time frame that is, everybody's life circumstances is different. So I'm not going to suggest a time constraint or anything like that. I leave that up to you. The purpose, though, is every single day, you make sure you get up and you spend time in meditation. And again, that prompt will come out the evening before. So that means, like I said, Thursday, you'll get that introductory email, and then I'll follow up a little bit later with the first thought prompt, and you will begin your meditation on Friday, the first day, August 22nd, and that will continue on. And again, the last day will be the next new moon on the 22nd of September, okay? That, as well as the other event that I have is as you know, if you've been with me for a while, the upcoming Spiritual New Year event, which comes on the autumn equinox. And because of the way my schedule is, I'm going to do the event on the 20th, okay? Technically, the equinox is on the 21st, but, we're going to work with it. So that happens every year. I do that all the time. The special gift that I have for folks who are going to participate in this 30-day challenge, though, for meditation is to credit, basically, give you a credit for what you pay for the meditation journey, which is only going to be $10. And that can be applied to the registration for the Spiritual New Year. So I'll be sending out, along with that introductory email, a coupon code that you can use, so that if you decide that you want to join the Spiritual New Year event, which I hope you do, you can get the cost of the meditation journey taken off of the cost of the registration. Okay. Now, you don't have to join the meditation. You can just come to the Spiritual New Year event. That's fine as well, too. But that is an added incentive for you if you are going to do the meditation journey with me and the time leading up to that. It's also really holy time as well, too, if you are somebody that engages in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, because that is coming like literally a few days right after the end of this 30-day challenge and the autumn equinox. So great timing, just putting it out there. But that's an added bonus for those of you who are participating. So obviously there's only a few days until we come to the end of registration. So if this is something you're interested in, please sign up. I will not take any of the signups past Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for this 30-day challenge. So once you're in, you're in. If you make it past that, if you try to get in past that point, I'm going to say no. All right, just FYI. But those are the two upcoming events. Again, the links are below, so you can sign up at your leisure, depending on what works for you. Also, I do have my updated schedule for the week ahead for private sessions. So if you want to book something and have been waiting, it's updated now, as usual. And I'm now accepting new coaching clients. So please do take a look at the different coaching packages that I offer. All the information is on the link that I provide below, so you can take a look at that. I always do a free coaching discovery call with folks so that we can talk about, where you are, what's going on, what kind of help you need, et cetera, and determine, what's going to make sense for you, what's actually going to be most effective for you. Okay, so that is all I have for announcements. Now, let's actually get into today's topic. So, as I was sitting with Spirit today and trying to figure out what the topic was going to be for today, I knew I wanted to do Lightworker messages, but I wasn't quite sure how it was going to be structured. So I was going to go the traditional way that I do things, which is to divide things up into, the different classes of Lightworkers that I've classified them by. So Wayshowers, Sustainers, and Transformers, and do the whole thing. But Spirit was like, we want something different. We want to go a little deeper. Or more divine, I'll say. So the messages are going to be couched in the core essence of what the North Node is and represents in terms of our human consciousness development. Okay, so rather than thinking of these light workers in the segmented groups that I have, that I tend to operate from traditionally, it's that all light workers, regardless of the subset kind of that you might assign yourself to, whether that's through, my groupings or your own groupings or whatever, regardless of how you see your role, how you choose to play that out, this is what you are going to be noticing, picking up in the spirit in terms of clarifying how spirit is moving in terms of our collective ascension. Okay. And in particular, over the next year or two. The reason being is a few weeks ago, so basically, as we were coming into the summer solstice time, I was obviously getting a lot of messages about the bifurcations and the really beautiful initiations and solar energies and just all the things that were coming through, galactic energies. And while I was expecting there to be a specific separate channeled message come through about this phrase I was getting about entering the gate, and some of the key energetic and astrological things coming up over these next few years, nothing really came through. So I just let it do what it was going to do and just left it alone. But what was coming through was this phrase, entering the gate. And it was entering the gate for this next essentially 2-year period where there is a really important time of being able to create the world that you want to have. All right. I will also preface this message to say that this message is for all. One of the things that Spirit was also, helping me adjust in terms of how I'm showing up in this role as Oracle is that this message is, and these messages are for all, because that is the role of the Oracle. So regardless of the personal individual role that I would be playing, right, for my individual life, the role of the Oracle is to deliver the message for all. And the way that individual players, so to speak, individual creators, engage and when, strategize, etc. Certain circumstances, etc., is going to be dependent on how well they use their power, how well they engage with the process. And regardless of that, and also high key in spite of that, there is still a trajectory that the divine is taking us all on. Okay? Whether we like each other or not, whether we're besties with each other or not, the force of life, the force of nature is going to continue and is on the upward spiral, the life affirming journey at this point. Okay? Excuse me. So, this entering the gate is an important time where the malleability of things is more potent than we may realize. Okay? And ultimately, again, what we individually as creators, as players in this process choose to do with that is on us. Initial judgment is just like, this is really truly the nature of things. So for this message with the North Node, rather than, again, dividing into these different subsets, there is just the threefold nature of the divine that all of us are addressing and dealing with. So the creative, expansive, procreative, Wayshowing aspect, the strengthening and maintaining aspect, sustainer, right? And then the transformative, fire, passion, power, defense. Okay. So transformer energy. So all of those qualities are encoded and inherent in everyone. So all are going to be addressed, which is why it's not going to be divided into different subsets. Okay. So all messages for all signs, for all types, but this threefold nature. Now, for each aspect of this threefold nature, I will be diving in a little bit deeper and getting specific messages for essentially both sides of the coin. So the sides that don't like each other, essentially. There's not messages for the neutral or kind of follower energy, because there is always a third. It's not actually a binary, because that third group is essentially going to follow, as I've mentioned before, whatever side is kind of inching forward more and exerting more influence. So take that as you will. So after I go through each one, or as I go through each aspect of expression for Lightworker energy with this influence of the North Node or the ascending path during this time, I'm going to break down and get a breakdown into each side and that which is driving how they show up. And this information about what's driving how they show up, the reasons behind that, maybe what they may be using, tactics, tools, strategies, etc., is not information that the other side would know. So this is a revelation, but it's a revelation for all. Okay. So that's what's going to come out. Okay. So I'm going to let that sit. Let's see if there's anything else I want to relay about this topic before we jump in. Okay, I don't think so. All right, so let's go through the cards. If you do have questions, please do comment below, because this is definitely a different kind of vibe than what I normally do. So yeah, just let me know. But the first card out, and this is representing the creative, expanding side of things. This would normally have been like the Wayshower card, but again, I'm not doing subsets. This is for everyone. So that nature within you that is proactive, that is going after what you want, trying new things, creative, etc. Okay, experimenting, that sort of thing. We have card number 43, which is enlightenment. It's a beautiful card. I'm gonna hold this a little closer. So I'm gonna read the message from this oracle card just so that you have it. All right, so this is literally what I was just saying. So the subtitle for this card is evolution is guaranteed. Okay, evolution is guaranteed. This says you're waking up from your old habits and patterns. At times, you may feel bewildered and not quite like yourself. Relax, all is well. You are just keeping up with your evolution and the life that you desire. Your body and mind are adjusting and adapting to your new and loving soul perspective. It is common for your mind or body to resist, react, or panic when you experience the unfamiliar or unknown. However, from this higher vantage, you can change any story that splits you into and heal any wounds. You are not trying to replace a negative memory with a positive one. Instead, see all the components of a memory so that a new conclusion can form. An unbalanced memory recreates the trauma every time it is talked about or remembered. This event or person will be blamed for pain in your life today. A balanced memory has no charge or activation and becomes wisdom. You may even come to see a challenge as the best thing that ever happened to you. Once you change and heal your opinion, enlightenment will shine through as wisdom. Okay? But again, evolution is guaranteed. All right, next card. I'll go deeper into each card later, but next card, this is the strengthening, maintaining, sustaining energy, is card number 12, Whispers. Beautiful card here. I love the colors in this. The subtitle for this card is Tune In to Your Soul Voice. Your mind and heart are expanding to hear your soul whispers. You are or will soon find it easier to interpret and understand the vibes of your soul through how you feel. Open the door to soul whispers by feeling appreciative. Close the door by feeling judgmental. The messages are always there, even if you are not receiving them. Practice feeling soul vibes to clarify your intuition and psychic senses. Just like we know a dog can hear sounds we can't, your intuition interprets waves and impulses outside of your conscious awareness. This card is also prompting you to take notice of your dreams. When you are asleep, you cease conscious thought and resistance, making it easier for you to receive soul transmissions. If you embrace the messages that come through your dreams, you will invite more of the same. If you don't like a dream, see it as a sign to shift your focus or change a belief. Again, that subtitle is Tune In to Your Soul Voice. All right, and then last card, this is the Transforming Fire Adaptive Energy, okay? Card number, what is this, 29? You are the universe. Okay. And this message, the subtitle is Know the Self and Know the Nature of Everything. You are you, and yet you are also the universe. Just like you, the universe is a living entity. It is not a thing or person that knows everything. It is growing, moving, and reaching forward to experience life in new ways. Wherever or whenever you are, you will always recognize yourself, and you will always exist. Play with the idea that the universe in all its manifestations peers out through you. It mingles and joins with your energy to see the world through your uniqueness and expands as you do. You are the pioneer of this universal frontier, and the universe needs you to know it in all its forms. If you believe everything is separate, you will want a guide, angel, light being, someone or something outside of you who sees you to show you the way. However, everything is as one and nothing is separate. So nothing is on the outside looking in. The universe sees wonderment through your eyes, and you see wonderment in the universe. Become your own authority. Choose to feel good by discovering what makes you laugh, love, and enjoy. Focus on this, and you will create similar manifestations. And whatever you don't focus on will fall away from lack of attention. Okay. And the bottom of the deck, which also confirms the messages I was receiving about where these messages are coming from and what they're about. We have the card Awakening, number 2. Okay. So that confirms the evolution of human consciousness thing. All right. All right. So let me sit with these energies for a little bit. So, let me get the timing on this. All right, so for this first card, the Enlightenment card, I'll say for me personally here, being where I am, because that definitely colors my perspective a bit. So I'm going to speak it so I can get it out, digest it, and then be able to come out of that a little bit more. But I'll say for myself, being here in the States where I'm currently living, given the current political and also economic climate, thinking about what is coming next, what the future is going to hold for life in this country, very much makes it difficult to be able to perceive, quote unquote, perceive the future, as well as even allow for exploration of what could be next and what desire wants to be manifest, right? What wants to be made real in physical form, because it's like everything is kind of tumultuous, like what's actually going to be able to be here and last. And as I've sat with that perspective that, oh, I can't see what's coming, Spirit very clearly has been like, well, the path is clear, right? Because again, as I mentioned before, the ascending path that we're currently on is the path. So that part is taken care of in spite of us, right? So then when that gets brought down then to, okay, on a more specific individualized level, what does that look like? What does that mean? Spirit was really clearly also relaying that I and we know exactly what we're doing and what our next step and steps are. And the refusal to accept that because of emotions and beliefs around circumstances is why there is a cloud around what's next, what the future holds. But the thing is, this reminder about us being creators and having the ability to impact and influence and create seems to constantly be forgotten and just thrown away as like not being real or not being important, but it keeps coming back. The supposed fog, the supposed lack of clarity disappears when an intentional step, when intentional action is taken. And we know what that is. We may just have considered the path that we were on before to no longer be as important just because, again, external world has changed or circumstances are different or things are seemingly not as stable. But real talk, things are never stable because things always change in the physical. Yeah. So for all of us, this message of enlightenment is about a conscious choosing, a conscious proactivity, a conscious acceptance of how we need to be showing up, what we need to be doing, what we are actually needing to be expanding into. Because we know what that is. We may have discarded it. We may have put it on the back burner for a variety of reasons, positive, neutral, and negative. But the fact remains, it's there. So I guess the question can kind of boil down to, are you going to show up fully? Are we going to show up fully? Because that's very much this energy here. It's bright lights shining all around the world. And there's a golden heart there at the center. It speaks to authenticity. Let's get a little bit deeper into this message. Apologies if you hear noise. The neighbor is vacuuming in their car. It should stop shortly. Now, to be clear, some light workers might not have an issue with this right now. They might actually be very clear. But I would say overall, the point of this message, this part of the message for light workers in this North Node energy, is the power of us being proactive in the steps that we take. And this proactivity is about that which is for us to do, rather than what we think needs to happen in order for the external world to change, which may actually be a spiritual bar. Because what that is pointing to, it seems like, is the belief that the power of your own hands is greater than God. That may be something to sit with. If you, I guess, kind of struggle with that, with duty, self-sacrifice, martyrdom. One clue for this, when it comes to that which is for you to do, that which is for you to do is that which you are well equipped for and positioned to do. It would be the part that I would add, but the message from Spirit was specifically that which you are actually well equipped for. Which could be as simple as shifting from this idea that you have to take the lead in something and more so support another who is taking the lead. Yeah. But yeah, it's that which is for you to do is what you are well equipped to do. Things that are about like making people do what you think they should do are not going to work anymore. I mean, it kind of hasn't been working so much as lately. Like it's almost like the ability to parasitize in that way is lessening. like it's losing its juice or its effectiveness, if you will. Not that it's gone away completely, it hasn't, but for those who really operate in that way, like it's requiring more of them to be able to like try to do or operate in the way that they have been. And this is for everybody. Like I said before, this message is for everybody. So light and dark. Because we're talking about behaviors, ways of being. Interesting. So essentially, like this, this parasitization is going to continue to lose its effectiveness. And the power is going to lie in everybody standing in their truth and authenticity, and drawing upon their own power and resources, which is still quite powerful. But it's detached from feeding off of other. Or the idea of other, because there is no other. I'm waiting for 2 more cards to come out for this message. Hello to folks coming in. I'm not paying attention. I'm sorry. Hello to folks who are joining. Thank you for being here. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. It helps to circulate it in the YouTube ecosystem. Please share this with anyone who you feel would benefit from these messages. Check out the description box below for important info. As you come in, just say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're joining from, what, if anything, you might be sipping on. I'm trying to get one more card for this message. I hope everybody is doing well. For those joining live. Yeah, the parasitization is not sustainable. So whether that's literally parasitizing the natural environment, overusing, misusing, not creating sustainable operations, if you will. Relationships, just like everything. It's already been in process, but this is coming through very specifically over this time period, the next few years. This is key. I'm gonna get this last card. 1 second. This is definitely gonna be a longer message today, so we're in it. See, greetings from Inglewood, watching the trees get prunes. Nice. And feeling these bars you're dropping, so very indicative of these past few weeks for me. Awesome. There's no life left in the subconscious part of them. Truly. I mean, some folks are hanging on. But yeah, it's not lasting. It is not lasting. But that's good though. It's time for us to mature from that collectively. We can be better. And we can do better. Finally. My goodness. All right. So, clarification on this message for the opposing sides. So, we are showing up as the Two of Wands. The opposing side is showing up as the Queen of Wands. That which is driving how the Two of Wands is going to be us opposed, which is the light workers, right? Those who are actively who are serving the progressive side of things, if you will, the life affirming side of things. The opposing side is the Queen of Wands. So that which is fueling the drive of the opposing force. The opposing force is the King of Swords. And then for us, what's fueling is the Six of Wands. This is very interesting. And it's a word. So this fighting energy here for us is what's fueling how we're showing up in terms of gaining dominion and power with the Two of Wands, because that's what that is representing here in this particular deck. But for the opposing side, which is also someone seated in a position of power, it's the King of Swords. This is very different energy. This is power through structure, rules, authority, order, establishments. This is brains versus brawn, essentially. Now, for me, on a personal note, putting the Oracle hat to the side, this ultimately is not a winning strategy. Because this energy doesn't have the capability to, I won't say capability, because that doesn't necessarily mean that this energy is not capable. But this is very focused on protection, right? He's like protecting this orb of life. But this is so focused on fighting that there's really no energy here inherent in the card for building or even helping to maintain the flow of life for that which is being defended. Whereas this side, our opponents, or those we don't like in general, or the non-progressive side, is while it's not necessarily good at the fight, what it is offering and or being led by, which is also important to think about, because this is also, obviously what's driving each thing, but it's also being led by, being driven by this desire to create structure and form. So this can be viewed as safety because it's the promise of security and sameness. The desire to have this, to replicate this, could also be fueling the opponent. Now, that which they're trying to create could be and is so incredibly threatening and non-life affirming to so many people. But this is the drive. Oh, hello. Hi from North Carolina, joining with lemonade made with homemade Tulsi simple syrup. Nice. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. I basically have only just kind of started getting into the messages because it's been a long ramp up in, so great timing. But yeah, this is really, really interesting energy. Now, both sides excel, right? So the light forces excel in war and battle, and the dark forces excel in craft, structure, organization, institution, etc. I also love how the energies are they are essentially the same, both fire energy, but what's driving is essentially polar opposites, fire and air. They're also both very volatile energy. Now, this message today is not going to be strategy to be given to either side, because that would be something more so I would do as Jynnette rather than the Oracle. And this is very specifically an Oracle message. But the information is important to have, even with that being said, for all parties involved, to really see and understand what's at the heart of things. There's something that both sides can learn from each other. I'll leave it at that. I will leave it at that. I will say overall to both sides, both the progressive and non-progressive sides, that ultimately we are going to meet in the middle. But the middle is going to be skewed to the life affirming side. But it's going to be empowering for all. but how we get there and what that looks like. All right, let's move on, because I will most likely be here for 2 hours. I'm trying not to go longer than that since it's already almost at an hour. All right, so that was the Wayshowing side of the nature of the North Node, or the ascending energy. So now we're going to shift to the strengthening, sustaining, maintaining side of things, proliferation side of things. Again, this is for all. What was the message for that one again? That subtitle was, oh yeah, tune into your soul voice. All right, so let's see how the two sides are showing up with this. Oh, actually, no, let me get the general message first. One sec. I'm getting a reminder about, like, even though I was veering those messages towards the end of what's going on politically and economically, since that is top of mind, I'm being reminded of the message that came through about God, source, universe being in control of things ultimately, and about how these messages are how we are to be showing up for that which is for us to do. So those things that are driving each of us, depending on, you know, which side of things we're on, is important to look at and consider. And all the consequences of that, positive, neutral, and negative. And decide how you want to use that or not as it relates to that which is for you to do. But yeah, it's just describing the dance. So for this Whispers card, this seems like this is about being very much involved in the process of whatever the proactivity is for you to do. So the first card seems more like understanding and clarity about the steps, where you're going, what you are working towards, clarity on the path ahead, the future ahead for the next few years, right? especially if you've been feeling or thinking that things are not clear, because that's not true. They are clear. You know what you're supposed to be doing. For this is like getting into the nitty gritty now of that process, and the exploration, living out the expansion within that. So the living in each of those steps. Okay. This is very clearly saying that the soul, spirit, very clearly communicates the specifics to focus on, the things that light you up, the things that essentially do what it's supposed to do in terms of what your soul desires and needs. And that's regardless of whether or not there is an external win, if you will. Let's get a little more clarity in terms of how this is showing up for the opposing sides. Three of Swords is our card, represents our energy on the light side of things. The Fool card represents the opposing side, the dark side of things. That which is driving and informing the opposition is the Ten of Wands. And that which is driving us, what we're using, making use of, whatever, is the Six of Swords. Interesting. The dog out there, I don't know if you can hear it. All right, so for us, having this Three of Swords is very interesting because this is obviously the card represents heartbreak, having to see things for what they are. It's like the harsh reality of things and having to like accept that. Whereas for the opposing side, this is basically a naivete. Naivete on one hand, but also could be like a way of showing up that essentially acts like things are either brand new or that all possibilities exist. This is a very open energy. Can be foolish and immature. This is a perspective that is colored by past experience, which on one hand can be wisdom, provide wisdom in terms of, development, sustaining, etc. But it also can be a hindrance because it can prevent one from being open to something new. Yeah. So this 10 of Wands driving the opposing energy. I actually feel like it's a refusal. Oh, you know what? This is also kind of like a parasitic energy. It's like a refusal to deal with the consequences of the new that it's trying to have. So it's like it's constantly seeking the dopamine hit of what's new, what's next, wherever that's being found, but then not wanting to deal with the consequences of the fallout from that extraction or paratization. Parasite, you know what I mean. But yeah, it's feeling very specifically like a refusal to um, want to be burdened with having to maintain something. It's like always seeking out for the new. So it's always open for the new because it's always seeking that, but it's coming from this place of refusal of burdens, responsibilities, consequences, etc. It's like Rolling Stone energy. You know, the song Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Like that's the vibe. Um, for us in the light, we have the Six of Swords. I just realized we have the same opposing energies again with the fire and the air, except it's flipped. In this case now, um, the you know the being here is sitting in this beautiful like garden of roses, but then there's like also all these swords. Why are the swords there in the garden? Like that's not the place where these need to be. So it's like um yeah, it's like this inability to let go. Like this feels like an actual running away from. This is a refusal to let go. And this energy may feel like it's taking wisdom or experience from the past and informing how it engages with this new growth, this new future. But this ain't it. Swords in the garden. So there's an inability to actually know how to convert or be open to new possibilities. This feels like it's a for both sides. This is a point of great contention because neither is sustainable. The opposing side overconsumes. Okay. And our side doesn't create. Yeah. Let me know if that resonates, folks. It feels like a read. I mean, I agree wholeheartedly from spirit, but with the first expanding part of things that I was addressing earlier, that seemed more conducive to like movement and shift and change. And this feels, rather than like, you know, again, strengthening in proliferation and stuff. This actually feels like a place of block within each side. And maybe folks on both sides are not quite clear about how to unlock themselves from this subconscious or unconscious block. Because neither of these come across as positions of strength. They come across as areas where healing is needed. Because it's literally not allowing for an empowered expression of the soul, regardless of the side. Like it actually comes across as deeper hurt, deeper pain, deeper issues that need to actually be addressed and dealt with. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else I need to say about that? I mean, healing is definitely available because spirit is always there, present. Sorry, text message from work. Yeah, that's what needs to be said. Healing is available. Last aspect of this. So this is going to be the transforming part of this ascending cycle for light workers, regardless of whether or not you're a transformer. So that is card number 39. You are the universe. Remind myself of the subtitle on that one again. Okay, so this side of things is the side that learns, adapts, transforms, releases. So this would be like the south node, basically. North node, south node. But this is very much giving like fire and passion and fuel in a lot of ways, though. As well as release. It's like releasing to shake off so that there can be more movement, more forward motion. Okay. Any other message around that before I get into specifics, though? I'm like trying to get messages through my hunger because I again was intending to start earlier, and then I was sitting in spirit for so long that I started late. So I'm like, I'm supposed to be eating now. I'm like, stay in it. Oh, there's another thing that came through on this. Okay, so this is also the part that which determines what needs to be let go of, that which needs to be killed off. And like making that choice to sacrifice, essentially. All right. And there's power in that. Okay, so let's see the two opposing sides. Clarity on these positions for the light and the dark. For us, we are showing up in the light as the Eight of Pentacles. We finally got a shift in energy, right? It's also really interesting how like that first group was like predominantly fire cards with one air card, and the second group was predominantly air with one fire. I do notice that. All right, opposing side is showing up as the King of, oh my goodness, the Knight of Cups. The this is interesting. So we have Ace of Pentacles for that which is driving, the opposite side. And then for us, we have King of Pentacles, which is driving us. And this is interesting because now we're in a completely different energy where the predominance is with the Pentacles or Earth energy. So 3 out of the 4 cards are Pentacles, and we have 1 Water card. So that is actually very interesting. It in particular is interesting because it's the opposite of the elements of the North Node currently, because the North Node is in Pisces, water, South Node is in Virgo, earth. But we are coming into this time with these 2 new moons showing up in Virgo. So it's interesting that the Virgo energy is, or the earth energy, I should say, is showing up more for this tail end. All right, so let's get into it. We have the 8 of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles talks about, it can be a card about putting in the work, like working very hard, being diligent in that work. But what's interesting with this particular card is only one of the seven is not lit. So rather than all of the pentacles being lit up, only 7 of the 8 are. Which, when it comes to that message about release and deciding what to kill off or sacrifice or what have you, it can seem like it's inherent within this card that there is an understanding and a practice ritual, if you will, of regularly letting go of a portion of what would normally, be your resources or be part of your focus, attention, etc. Framework for being, belief systems, whatever, right? This is just representative of something that is purposefully let go of. Now, two things with this. This can also mean, or it can also suggest that there are too many things being juggled. Right? Like that more needs to be let go of or sacrificed. Because it's taking up space, it's clogging things up. Another way to look at this is this could be a situation where you're being reminded that you can actually handle more things and there's not much that actually needs to be let go of or sacrificed or killed off. So it's really just going to depend. For the opposing side, this Prince or Knight of Cups. This is giving me an indulgent energy because this Knight is actually drinking from the cup. And I don't think in this deck anybody actually drinks from the cup at all. So it's literally giving me this vibe of indulgence, which would mean like choosing not to let go. Or wanting to continue to be numbed out by delusion, illusion, ideas of grandeur, what have you. This could be anything from apathy to, debauchery, basically. Yeah, because this guy is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Not that it doesn't ever do it, but kind of lazy. The thing driving the opposing side is the Ace of Pentacles. So the aces talk about new beginnings. This may actually it's kind of similar to a message that was coming in earlier about in the last grouping about kind of running away from the consequences of sustaining something, responsibilities, burdens, etc. And like always instead wanting to search for the new. There's a little bit of that in this. But I think we'll see. Let me get the words out first to see if it actually is getting in the direction Spirit wants me to go. I think that this is pointing a little bit more specifically to picking those things that won't require much. Ah, that felt like a read. Not why did I think of Trump begging for a Nobel Peace Prize with that night? I mean, listen, the energy. But yeah, picking things that don't require sacrifice. Picking things that don't require long-term investment or development. Picking the easy wins. Picking the things that keep you comfortable, even if they're not ideal. Whether that's relationships, jobs, creative projects, whatever. That's kind of driving that behavior. That's interesting. For us, so that was the opposing side, but for us in the light, King of Pentacles. This this is very much the opposite. This is doing too much. This is doing too much. Which tells me that this Eight of Pentacles is really more so that interpretation earlier of like having too much on the plate. Not that you can't handle too much, but some of the ways that this could show up is being obsessed, honestly, of the longer, bigger term goals, regardless of context. So whether that's in relationship, job, creativity, what have you, but being so focused and so obsessed on the end goal that you're burdening yourself with things that you don't need to be burdened with at the in between, at these different aspects of the in between stage. Right? Like, say you really love the company that you're at, and it's like, oh, you know, one day I want to be a VP of this company. Great, it's beautiful. But like taking on the burdens to act as if like that's something that you're going to be doing tomorrow or next year is inappropriate. Okay. It's like, what is the literal next step and what needs to be done to get you there? Right? This is the energy of doing too much. Like, you don't need to be trying to network with CEOs and other VPs. If you want to have somebody as a mentor, that's great. You still got to do the work in the in-between stage and put in the time in the in-between stage. Relationships, this could be like, you know, I want to be married with kids and all the things. That's great. Guess what? You need to date, and you need to date for marriage, which means you need to think about things beyond the list, right? We need to think about politics. We need to think about how money is managed. We need to think about how kids would be raised. We need to think about aging family members and how that's going to impact, like, think about a lot of things. but that doesn't mean you need to drill a potential prospect on date one. Like, we don't need to be having a what do you bring to the table conversation on the first date. Yeah. Doing too much. So, overworking, over hustling versus picking the low lying fruit. That's what's driving us and opponent, respectively. Okay. I'm going to get closing guidance, unless folks have questions. I'm mad I can smell other people's food right now. I'm going to go stuff my face as soon as I get off this live stream. So it's important for the light and the dark to remember that they are all children of God. And that this soul evolution process, in particular the soul evolution process has been here before. And everyone has growth and healing to be involved in for themselves. And that comes first before our imaginary wars, because they're imaginary in that they are things that we have created rather than things that have been decreed by the divine. So our place of harmony exists in that space. Our community and communion exists there, not in the imagined world. This ability to fracture consciousness between the reality of that truth of our collective nature and the imagined reality we have created is a unique feature of us as creators. Seek trust and respect. That last part was from me, Jynnette. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, the call to commune with soul and spirit is strong for all of us, because the addiction to the imagined reality is, it causes soul suffering, which is different than the imagined reality suffering. Also, please understand the imagined language is not saying not real, not important. Like like very real, very important. So hopefully y'all get that. Like, we're not saying it's not important and doesn't have value. It's just putting things in their proper order, and God's spirit comes first for everybody. And it's not in a performance kind of way. the call to sit with spirit, the call to sit with one's self, to sit with the universe, is for all, because that is our birthright. And that is what the soul ultimately aches for at its core. And then secondarily, being able to play in various colors and expressions. But the core need must be met and honored and committed to, which is also probably why this 30-day meditation came through. So if that's something that, is speaking to you, I invite you to sign up. The link is below. And again, for those who do sign up, you'll be able to use the $10 for that, basically, towards a ticket for the Spiritual New Year channeling event. So get that time in with spirit and source. Commit to it. Make it a commitment. And then come into the role that you are playing fully, regardless of the side that you are playing on. And may the best player win. Or may the best team win. In the imagined reality. All right, y'all. Any questions before I bounce? Oh, goodness. Pushing on the 2 hours, but we're coming in under it, so I'm grateful. Any last questions before I bounce? I think we're good. All right, so last day to sign up for the 30-day meditation challenge is next Thursday, literally the 21st at 5 p.m. That is a hard cutoff. So if you want to sign up, I know it's only a couple days, but sign up, please, if it interests you. And then you can also sign up for the Spiritual New Year, which is coming up on September 20th. That's my yearly channeling event. So that is that. All right, y'all. I am going to bounce. Yes, I'm going to go eat. Have a wonderful weekend. For those of you that are joining the meditation challenge, I'll see you via email. See you via email. And then, God willing, I will see you at the next Oracle Talks, which I'm planning to be here for next Saturday. And I'm assuming it will be a new moon message. We'll see. I'm trying not to assume things, but we'll see. All right, y'all. Bye. Love you.